Alrighty guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we are going to take a look at a tier list that is done for DFFOO by the website called ultima.jp. I will link this website down in the description of this video if you are wanting to check this site out. There are some JP players that do refer to this website to see what other people's opinions are on a character that has gotten a rework or new weapons or a brand new character, etc, etc. Whatever incoming reworks drops in DFFOO, this list tends to get updated pretty quickly actually. So we are going to look over the top 10 overall strongest character ranking according to ultima.jp, and I'm gonna give my opinions on how I feel about it and if I do agree or disagree with the placement of said character. Now, this is not the only type of list that they offer on this website. They do offer different like lists, like maybe like a top 5 depending on the type of like character they are, whether they are like DPS or they are buffer, enchanter, you know, so on and so forth. I'm not gonna be going over any of that. I am gonna be going over the top 10 list, the top 10 character rankings according to this website, and you know, giving my brief opinion on them and how I feel about it and if I do agree with it. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below about this tier list if you do play JP and how you feel about it. And then for any global players who do keep up with JP content and like what's going on with JP, so on and so forth, let me know what you guys think about everything as well. Now for me myself, I do not refer to this list whatsoever. I mean, like, I see that it is shared in the Facebook JP group that I'm in, but other than that, I don't really follow any of the lists. Like, I just go about it now that with DFFOO they changed the amount of events that we get per month. I go about it as to like how beneficial this character would actually be to me in current JP and later down the line as we progress to you know, to the next couple of months and whatnot. So like for me this list, you know, it's for me it's not necessary, and I've always said that like I feel like tier list for this game, for a game that does not have PvP, is unnecessary, and that players should just go about it with like how said character will actually benefit them, or if it is a character that you are needing to fill in the slot for whatever specific role it is that they do. So that's how I go about it, and that's how I feel about a tier list. Now, I will say that I will be uploading my top 10 characters for DFFOO for the entire year for 2022. It's not going to be in order. It's not going to be like a whole ranking thing like they got going on here. It's going to be just me just talking about these top 10 characters, how I feel about them, and you know, I'll give like my pros and cons about them, because like that type of video would be like a video more so for players who are trying to plan out for future for future pulls for global DFFOO. So I'm gonna be doing that at some point before this year ends, so expect to see that video at some point sooner or later. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I feel like I've already said enough. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first place ranking, which is Kina. Now, Kina, by far, and I will agree that Kina definitely deserves the first place slot, because Kina is like has the most busted BT effect I think that anybody in the community has ever seen. So while her BT effect is active, even if you have 0 Brave, even if you have, let's say, I don't know, like 1,000 Brave, whatever the amount it is, as long as you have 0 and above, you will literally deal HP damage. I kid you not, it is probably one of the most broken BT effects we have ever seen in this game. And guess what? Like, this also like adds on to like, all, you know, force does get affected by this. So if you do have the force gauge active with whoever force it is, and you have Kina's BT effect active, you will deal whatever HP damage cap it is possible during that turn. Like, it is insane how like, it's crazy to me how they would release such a powerful character like this, where like you pretty much like need like no Brave whatsoever. Now, if you're broken, that's a different story. But like I said, as long as you have 0 Brave, like literally the number 0 and up, then you will be able to deal the highest HP damage cap that your character is able to deal. It's crazy. It's crazy to me how busted this character is. Now, the other thing is that while you have the BT effect active, which Kina's BT effect is short. Like, it's I believe it only lasts for 5 turns, but for obvious reasons. Like, the BT effect is freaking broken. I don't think it would be nice to have it like at a much higher amount of turns and whatnot, but like, I mean, it's that busted in my opinion. But while you have the BT effect active, though, you also have a new change command, a change HP command, which replaces Kina's skill 1, and that command is also a very destructive command. Kina also inflicts a trap as well, which that trap activates before. It's a preemptive trap, so it'll activate before the enemy does whatever it is that it is going to do. And then when it comes to the FR is very easy to me. You pretty much have to have max stacks on Kina's overhead and whatnot. And I forget what the other one was, but like, they are very easy conditions, and so like it's an FR that pretty much like anybody can be paired up with Kina, and Kina will, I mean, on top of what this character already provides, like, I mean, overall, a very busted and solid kit that Kina has, and it's a character that for me myself, like, literally, if you want to talk about meta, that's a meta character right there. So yeah, very much busted. I do agree with the first place slot for this ranking. The second one, Setzer. Setzer just recently came out with his FR and BT. Now, Setzer is similar to Kina, but not entirely the same thing, because with his BT effect makes it so that you have a 70% chance of dealing HP damage cap. The biggest difference between Kina and Setzer is not only that you do have to play with a little bit of RNG, but it's a 70% chance, so more than likely you will get that proc. But Setzer's BT effect is a randomly generated amount of turns. So like, the lowest that it can go to 6, and the highest that it can go, I believe, is either 12 or 14, one of the two. Let's just go with 12 just to be on the safe side. But so whenever you activate his BT, it will be any of those amount of turns by the time you finish activating his BT effect. So the difference there is that, yes, Setzer does beat Kina in terms of the amounts of turns that you can have in the BT effect, but Kina beats Setzer because of the fact that Kina, you will always be capping in the HP damage cap. With Setzer, you have a 70% to do so. But remember, Setzer also has the ability to make it so that you are able to deal rainbow numbers, aka Brave damage kappa, Brave damage cap. So like, Setzer in a way has more, I guess you could say, versatility might be the correct word. He has a little bit more to offer, is what I'm trying to say. So like, and that is more so for like the, trying to help you cap in the Brave damage and then in the BT damage. So like, yeah, like Setzer, I will also agree that Setzer being in second place is a good spot for him. Because not only that, you also have the ability for him to be able to freeze the enemy's Brave, and when it comes to his FR conditions are very easy to me, and Setzer literally helps you with both conditions. I know the first one being it so that you do not let the enemy like gain any Brave, if I'm not mistaken. It's either not gain any Brave, or they do not or to not let them have any Brave at all. And Setzer's freeze debuff will help you out with that. And then the other one being to deal 9,999 in Brave damage. Remember, Setzer has his LD ability, which helps in dealing rainbow Brave damage. So yeah, overall, like, Setzer definitely got a very good FR and a BT, and I do feel like even if you do have Kina, Setzer is also still worth pulling for, in my opinion. So yeah, I do agree that Setzer should belong in second place. Now the third one, Rubicante. Rubicante is a counter-tank, an elemental counter-tank at that. He is also able to heal, charge up the gauge, and when his BT effect is active, he is able to counter-attack with 2 counters. So like, and the thing is though, that's actually one of his FR conditions, is to actually counter. So having that proc twice will help you in increasing the HP damage bonus. He does provide damage reduction for all allies. That is also true. He does have that HP recovery, which is also a good thing as well. So like, he, in a way, aside from being able to do all of that, he does have some supportive capabilities, but he is more so on the defensive side, and he does deal some pretty good damage overall. Ruby Conte, in my opinion, is definitely worth picking up later down the line for any global players who are debating on him. And as we get closer and closer to his release, I'll talk more about him, but he very much is definitely worth your resources. He's a very strong tank, very good against those type of fights where the enemies are going to be gaining multiple attacks, or just having him in your team, you know, to spam FR Echo. But at the same time, if you do let the enemy act, then Ruby Conte will be there to counter attack them and whatnot. So yeah, Ruby Conte, very good character, definitely worth pulling for. Next up is the tutorial character, which is going to be Rex. And by the way, I do agree that Ruby Conte should... Actually, no. I will disagree with the placement of him being in 3rd place. And we'll get to that here in just a bit. So the next character, which is the tutorial character, is Rex. Now, Rex, he is... I guess you would quote him as a tank as well, because he is able to protect you from incoming attacks if it is a single target attack. So long as you activate his skill 2, then it'll grant the buff, so that way he is able to protect your teammate. He does have 2 follow-up preemptive attacks before attacking. At the start, before his BT effect, he only has 1, but once you activate his BT effect, he will be able to proc them twice. He does increase his own FR. Like, his FR is very much like easy to be able to work with. So, and with him protecting your allies, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that he does get an increase in his force. Let's check that out real quick. So let's see. So a 20% increase whenever brave damage is reduced or absorbed by a buff once per turn. So yeah, technically he is able to do that because he will be covering for your teammates. Yeah, for your teammates. So yeah, he will be getting an increase with all of that. Yeah. And even if it's an AoE attack, it's still going to be 20%. So regardless, you're still benefiting from that one. Now, I know that many players, not many, but some players may not be too happy at the fact that a tutorial character managed to get into DFFOO, aside from like all the other characters that everybody else has been wanting. But like Rex overall, regardless if you do not see him in gameplays and whatnot, like Rex is actually a good character, and he's another one that I would personally pick up once again. In terms of placement for the character ranking, I would say that I would not have him in 4th place. I would probably have him maybe at 5th place. But like, that's just me myself. Like I said, like for him being a cover tank and whatnot, he can deal some pretty good damage. And having 2 of his preemptive follow-up attacks while his BT effect is active, yeah, that damage stacks, and that damage stacks very quickly, especially during BT phase. So if you don't know about him, check out some gameplay. Best believe you would actually be pretty impressed with what he actually has to offer. So with that, we're gonna jump into 5th place, which is Iris. Now, Iris is probably one of the most broken utility characters in my opinion. So her EX ability is stupid. Like, it is really stupid. So get this, right? Let's say that you are on your final action of your FR. You're at 999. You deal some insane... Let's say you use Tifa and you get like 50-60 mil out of Tifa, right? Well, Iris, with her EX ability, is literally able to copy that amount of damage that Tifa did and add a little bit more to it. Yeah, very busted. It is a very busted effect. Now, the other thing that I really like about Iris, and like Iris honestly synergizes very well with a lot of characters after her release. So Iris, with her BT effect, literally sets the enemy's max brave to 0. She also sets to 0 some other stats as well, but like the biggest thing is having the enemy's maximum brave set as 0. It's actually really convenient to have for future Shinryu fights. And Iris is a character that I would recommend that players pick up. Now, in terms of placement, I would say Iris belongs in 3rd place. That's just me. Like, I would actually move Iris up to 3rd place, then put Rex, and then actually no, excuse me, jump Iris up and then push these 2 back. So Rubikansu would be 4th, and then Rex would be 5th. That is how I would change at least like the top 5 in my opinion. But yeah, Iris, very busted utility character, definitely worth picking up. Next up is Dorgon. Man, Dorgon with the BT that he got and everything, it makes it so much easier. Like just like it says here, makes it so much easier to steal breaks with his BT effect. And then of course his follow-ups, even though it did not get changed, I did not think that it needed it. Dorgon did get a small rework, but it wasn't anything major. It was more so, you know, to increase like break potency to meet the demands in current JP Shinryu. But like in my opinion, he really didn't need too much. And also like he benefits since he does now provide Wind Enchant via his BT effect. He will pretty much be like dealing weakness damage all the time. No, not only him, but also his teammates. So like overall, like Dorgon and Iris together is a disgusting combo. Because remember, Iris with her BTS effect sets the enemy's break to 0. Dorgon will take advantage of that. He'll break 1, then he'll break 1 during the follow-up, and then he'll break the enemies again with that second follow-up. So like Dorgon, I would agree that he belongs in 6th place, probably 7th place, depending on like what characters you are looking at. But like Dorgon, very much worth. His BT effect makes him much more stronger and does provide some good support in terms of like, you know, party auras and whatnot to the party. So very much worth. Next up is Aerith. Aerith with the freaking Aerith with the BT is stupid. So obviously we already know that Aerith prevents the enemy from inflicting debuffs and whatnot, and buffs and whatnot. So like Aerith makes it so that it's not going to be a good time for the enemy. When it comes to her FR, like you would probably gonna be spamming FR Echo, because with her FR, she is able to it does have instant turn rate, excuse me. So like for those who do keep up with JP gameplay and everything that's going on, basically she with it having instant turn rate, a lot of us JP players, including myself, will find a friend Aerith to spam FR Echo on her because of that instant turn rate, and because it does provide a good percentage depending on which FR that you are using. We do benefit from her actually having that instant turn rate effect whenever you use her FR Echo. So it is very convenient to have. Whenever you do activate Aerith's BT though, Aerith's BT is very nasty. Like, I like it, it's a very good one. So with that, she does gain an overhead, which that overhead, the value of it will depend on the amounts that the amount of healing, and it can go up to 200k, and it does get affected by force. So the damage that you can actually get from that after it reaches 4 stacks is great, is very good damage. She also gains a golden frame buff, which provides the party with practically invincibility. Like literally any incoming damage, 0. Brave damage, 0. So like, and the downside about this buff though is that it only lasts for 4 turns. So you do have to time whenever you use said BT effect. So it would probably be best, like, excuse me, it's probably best to use her FR Echo before you activate the BT effect, so that way, if you know that the enemy is going to be trying to hit you with any incoming damage, then guess what? That buff, that gold frame buff, is going to help you out greatly. The other thing about this BT effect is that in case anybody gets KO'd, well, the BT effect expires, because this BT effect has no turns. So like, this BT effect will remain active until somebody gets knocked out, I do believe the other thing, yeah, it's either if the enemy if any of your teammates gets knocked out, or if anybody falls below 50% of their HP, then this will activate. Everybody will be fully healed and whatnot, and then her BT effect will finally go away. So yeah, very good BT effect, one that I would recommend to have, including the FL Echo that you do gain out of Aerith. I would say that this is a BT that I would recommend players going for, because it can be very helpful. In terms of placement, I would probably switch between Dorgon and Aerith. It just depends. Like I said, like Dorgon's good for DPS and everything like that, elemental enchant, so on and so forth. But Aerith at the same time, like I lean more towards supports, because obviously like supports make everybody else go burr at a much easier makes it a much easier time, right? But Aerith, I would switch between both of them. But in terms of placement, I would agree that these two are good where they are at. Next up, number 8, Sid Reigns. Everybody knows what Sid Reigns does. There's really not too much that I need to say. I mean, he did get FR Echo and whatnot, which wow. Boy, FR Echo plus Sid Reigns with a BT effect active, yeah, pretty nasty. And you know, everybody knows what Sid Reigns does, so there's not really much that I can say right now. But the fact that he is still in the top 10 according to Ultima, just shows that yeah, Sid Reigns definitely can actually do some work. Next up is Ursula. Now Ursula, Ursula in a way is kind of like the opposite of like Kina, kind of. Right? Because like basically what Ursula's BT effect does is that it maximizes everybody's brave up to their max brave amount with every HP attack. So let's say if your max brave is 260k, well guess what? Every HP attack, you're not gonna fall down to 0. You're gonna fall down to your max brave. So you're practically almost gonna be hitting cap damage whenever you have Ursula's BT effect active. Her high FR max, I don't know what that says. We're gonna go over that. But she does have FR Echo. It does have instant turn rate, so she is another character that you could probably use as a friend support or like a non-friend support. And you can take advantage of that, like spam her FR Echoes, activate her BT for like the little bit of time that she has left on the field, and then you'll be good to go. You have taken advantage of the little bit of time that she has been there. So like overall, very good BT effect to actually have, very convenient to have as well. It's one that I feel like some players may overlook Ursula's BT effect because of Kina, but like the fact that you are pretty much like she is literally helping you to like cap the entire time. I do feel like it's a BT that is actually worth keeping. I will say 9th place. I do feel like it's a little low. I may switch it with Sid Reigns, but like I said, I mean with her, I feel like she leans more towards the supportive end, and that's just myself. But I do think 8th to 9th place, yeah, it's not too bad of a spot in my opinion. And then finally, we're gonna take a look at Yuffie, who is gonna be the last spot. So Yuffie does gain a new HP command while her BT effect is active, which is a pretty strong attack. Of course, Yuffie is all about the debuffs and whatnot. The good thing is that with her BT effect, aside from the new HP command that she actually gains, you also get you also have it so that any debuffs that Yuffie inflicts, the duration while the BT effect is active does not go down. So like Yuffie, for her being a debuffer, she does have some pretty good utility as well. So it's actually not a bad BT in my opinion. If you want me to be honest with you, I didn't expect Yuffie to actually be top 10. You know, I mean, like I wouldn't think that she would be a top 10. She's definitely a top 20, but I wouldn't think that she would actually be a top 10. But I can see why they put her in here, because of the debuff duration not being able to go down, and the new strong attack that she actually gains while her BT is active. So now, before I end off the video, I know some of you guys may not agree with this list, and again, this is not my list, so don't be coming at me thinking that the choices from this website are like incorrect, or you know, whatever it is that you feel about it, just know it's not my list. But I will say that just because like the character is not in the top 10 list does not mean that they are not a usable character, because there are plenty of characters currently in the game in JP that do have FR boards that are still very much viable in the game, and you know, they all have their different mechanics, and I feel like that is something very important that everybody should remember. So like Neon is still very much viable. Braska just recently got his BT. He's actually become viable now. Kurasama is still viable. Mog is still viable. General Leo is freaking stupid. Noctis is freaking stupid. Zack, like all of these characters that you see right here on this list currently have FR boards, and they are all very much still usable. Like regardless of if you agree or disagree, a lot of these characters, these 39 characters, are still very much good and can still very much be used in a lot of Shiryu fights. So like, you know, please don't look at this list and think that like, oh, these are like the top 10 characters that you need to pull for. Obviously, you don't have to pull for every single character, so long as you cover, so long as you have a character or two that is able to cover whatever specific role that you are trying to replace, then you'll be just fine. But like I said, all of these characters right here, just depending on whatever it is that you need, they are all very much viable. And again, you can agree or you can disagree, and that's perfectly fine. But that's just how I feel about it, and that's something that I feel like needs to be said, especially whenever I do my top 10 and I talk to you guys about which characters are my top 10 favorites for 2022 on JP. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Again, if you want to check out this website, I will link it down in the description of this video, so you can check out all of the other stuff and how they feel about, like, let's say like top 5 enchanters or debuffers or so on and so forth. You know, that the link will be down in the description of this video, so you can check that out. And again, a big thank you to my YouTube members for the continuous support. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.